In this video we're going to look at four-directional blocking. Four-directional blocking is excellent for practicing our blocking and particularly within a confined area. What we'll do is we'll go through all of the basic techniques that we have all for all the colour belt patterns and practice each one of them. We are, when we look at four-directional blocking, it starts all the way down a white belt. We have Jurugi and makgi, so four-directional punch and four-directional blocking. So we bring it in all the way down at the lower end. With it, we're looking at quality of movement. We're looking at the movement of the body, the balance, the poise within each piece. We're looking at using the correct technique. Make sure that it's the correct height for each of the techniques that we put out there. What we'll do is we'll keep it standard in regards to the four-directional block that we have as white belt, and we'll keep it as a low knife hand block. Let's look quickly at the Korean side of things so we can understand that a little bit better. When we're actually naming a technique, we should be looking at sectioning it off in a certain order. So firstly we have stance, then we have the tool, then we have the height, then the direction, and then the technique. So if we look at our low knife hand block, we've got gunsogi, so gunso, sonkal, najunde, baro makgi, so baro being outwards. We should name each of our techniques in this way. So what I'm going to try to do is within this video is name each of the techniques as we go so you understand that. So let's start off with Anpao makgi, and this is the basic Saja makgi that we have within our white belt syllabus. When we do our Anpao makgi, what we're looking to do is we're taking the blocking arm, we're taking it to the outside of my opposite reaction force arm. I need to be on my rear chest line, so here on my rear chest line. If I'm forward of that, we don't get any power from it, and it becomes ineffective. So from our rear chest line, looking at being above the shoulder so that we come down with the technique, we look to rotate through with the elbow coming in 45 degrees and then rotating through. We're looking at shoulder height. We're looking at 90 degrees with the elbow joint. We're looking at our blocking tool being on our shoulder line. Next we'll go on to Bakek-Power makgi. So with Bakek-Power makgi, and we're looking at it going on an outward direction, so Baro, Bakek-Power makgi, we're looking for that blocking hand to be on the inside, palm facing towards me, the opposite reaction arm, the palm facing away from me. Above shoulder height, on our rear chest line. As we rotate through, again the elbow coming through, 45 degrees, and then rotating through so we have the height of the fist at shoulder height. Again, we're looking chest on our shoulder line for our blocking tool. Next we're going to go for Napunde Bakek-Power makgi. Napunde Bakek-Power makgi is a high out forearm block. Moving on to patterns, Chukyo makgi next, Chukyo makgi. So with this we're looking at a rising block. With our rising block again, the hand comes from the inside or on top of my opposite reaction force arm. I'm looking at my opposite chest line, I'm looking at being at solar plexus height. At this point we raise up. There's a slight slip of the bottom arm underneath it. When we get to this point of around about the collarbone, then we send the arm up at an angle towards the actual the attack of this downward attack. What we're looking to do is to have it so it is one fist above our forehead. The palmok, the forearm, is right in the centre of my forehead in this position, and there's a 45-degree angle on the fist and the forearm, and also a 45-degree angle in that position there as well. We're going to take on to Sonka now, Sonka Chukyo Makgi. So with this one we're going to chamber exactly the same way, raise in exactly the same way, but as we then release the technique, we now open the Sonka, the knife hand, and this now progresses up into the correct position. Again, one fist in front of the forehead, but now we're using the Sonka, the knife hand, as our blocking tool, so this has to be in the centre of my forehead. Hechimaki, wedging block. So we're going to do middle hechimaki. So kawunde hechimaki. With a hechimaki, with my leg coming forwards, I have my hand onto the inside. They're crossed around about, so my fists are at shoulder height. As I come forwards, the arms lift, then we push outwards and downwards slightly. My fists here, then the jumuk needs to be ending up at my cheekbone height. My palmoks, which are going to be the blocking tools, they need to be in line with my shoulders in this position here. What we've got is someone coming in to grasp us and grab us, and what we're looking to do is to then part their arms, so at this point I can then do whatever attack I need to do to defend myself. Whether it be grasping them and a knee strike, or from here, maybe front kick, or to strike them with a hand technique. Gochimaki. So we get up to now to our blue tag pattern. So Gochimaki is our hooking block. With the hooking block, what we're looking to do is we're chambering on top, as we do with here, so plexus height. It lifts again. Once we get again to get up to our collarbone height, now it starts to rotate outwards. We have on our chest line here, we have the palmok position, and we have the wrist slightly cocked across. What's happening here is somebody is striking us with a punch, and what we're doing is we are slightly deflecting the technique, and we are resting our hand on top. So we have the sonka and also the palmok, which is actually deflecting, and the hand is controlling that hand, hooking over so that it doesn't deflect all the way across as we would do with more of a harder blocking technique. The angle of the elbow joint is at 25 degrees, so it is slightly more extended out. Normally our blocks are at 90, this comes out at 25 degrees. What it allows us to do once we've done a hook here is to then grasp if we need to, but that's a whole other block that we would do. So this is hooking block, not a grasping block. Okay, so next we're going to go on to Kush-Jumuk Chukyo Makgi. So, Kocha is crossed, Jumuk fists, Chukyo is rising, Makgi is block. So what we're looking to do is, from here, from our lower ribs, is the hands come up and sweep up into this position. The front leg, the hand is on the outside. The X, the cross part of the arms, is my forehead height. So this is to block somebody with a downward technique onto us, and we're gathering the hands up to block that technique. Again, we should have the X of the forearms or the wrists one fist away from our arms. But again, it should be up at forehead height. Next we're going to go on to Kocha Njunde Makgi. So now we come down with it. So with our fists we are facing downwards. They're just below shoulder height. We don't need to come from a big old height here, because what we're doing is we're checking this kick coming into to our lower region. So from this position just outside of shoulders here, but just lower than shoulders, from this position here as we come down, they rotate and downwards. So from here and down. We're looking them to be at the lower abdomen or in front of our belt, my front leg, the hand is underneath. This is our main primary blocking hand. But we're looking at the X piece to be gathering onto the shin bone, the tibia, to stop that kick rising upwards. Next we're going to go on to do power makgi. So double forearm block. With that double forearm block is very similar to and power makgi. It is more of a horizontal block that is looked at here. But what we're looking to do is to take our arms backwards to this position. So they are still slightly above shoulder height. Now from here, both arms come through and forward. The trick is not to rotate the hands too soon. If you start rotating the hands too soon, like and power makgi, you start getting this into the shoulder joint, which can potentially create damage to the shoulder joint through overuse. But also if you're taking impacts there again, it puts it more at risk. So as we come forwards, we're looking to bring the elbows in, and then at this point, we then rotate through. The little finger knuckle here is behind my elbow joint. This keeps me in this half-facing position. And we're going to do this as an apunde, high. So the fist is going to be at my eye height. Okay, makgi, so pressing block. So there's different sorts of pressing blocks. First one we're going to go on to is palm pressing block. So sombadak makgi. So with this though, we're going to use it as sang sombadak makgi. So it's going to be twin. So from here we're going to have both hands coming through into this position. Now what this to do is, when we do it as sang as a twin, is we've got a punch coming into my solar plexus area from an angle. We've also got a kick coming in at 45 degrees from that way, which I'm also defending against. It's important that we understand the lines and the positioning of the hands on this. The top hand here should be on my shoulder line, so the middle of the hand in line with the middle of my shoulder, and it should be in line with the solar plexus in regards to height. The lower hand, it should be on my chest line here, and we should have a 15 degrees bend in the elbow, and with the hand there is a slight rotation upwards with that hand. Because we've got the kick coming in here, we want it to hit onto the sombadak, the palm, in this position. If we're down here, it's going to hit onto our little finger and potentially damage our hand. As we deliver it, then the top hand that will be ending up as the bottom hand, it starts at shoulder height. The other hand starts at belt height. From this position, as we get to the midway point here, then the palms face each other, and then the rest of the movement creates the rotation downwards and upwards to our end points. Now within the pattern, I know you do it slowly, but it's actually designed to be fast. Obviously, when we do it in the pattern and do it in a slow fashion, then it's just to look at your balance, your poise, and to look at the technique you're using, and just to add that little bit more complexity into it. We do it in a fast way, obviously, within a real-life scenario. Okay, so now we're going to go on to ap yop makgi. So with this, we have a front-side block. The chamber would be crossed arms from here. As we raise up slightly, then we're coming out into using my anpalmok in line with the shoulder in this position, and also at eye height. The opposite arm is just there for opposite reaction force. This is not a blocking arm within the pattern. That means that when we do it, it's in line with the shoulder and it is relatively straight in this position. So it is not outwards from here in a blocking position at all. Okay, so hopefully that's going to be explaining a lot of the basic blocks we have in our colour bell patterns for you, and assisting you with the pronunciation as well of those blocks in Korean, and just taking that your knowledge base just a little bit further on it. Go around both sides and do that multiple times. Look at the chambering, look at the delivery in the last quarter. What I mean by the last quarter on that is, if we take a walking stance, then from our start position, then as the feet come together, that's half the way the movement. Then to the end, that's another half. So what we're looking to do is to make sure that we deliver it. So half, 1/4, and from this point, we then deliver it. With that, we start getting more balance, more poise. We start getting much more in regards to power as well. So just to demonstrate that, what we're looking at is from here, neutral position, chambering in the third quarter, the last quarter we deliver the technique. Between each of the moves, try to do a neutral chamber. The neutral chamber at the midway point would be here. So it's in solar plexus height. My hands are on about like 45-degree tilt slightly. They're solar plexus height and away from the solar plexus. So we're not all tight and jammed in this position. Because if we're tight, our shoulders are tight, then it slows down the technique, and it means we're going to be doing ineffective techniques. Okay? So enjoy the video, and make sure again you practice multiple times each way. Thank you.